So in my last video, we talked about the divine right of kings and how King Carl II came after or succeeded his father because people believed he was born to be king and got his power from God. Now we're going to talk about how one philosopher in particular thought this might not be the case, and you might be able to see how he's impacted the development of many of the forms of government we have in the world today. From around the mid-1600s to the late 1700s, there was a big push in Europe that began to emphasize reason over faith and science over religion. This was called the Enlightenment. John Locke was an English philosopher born in 1632, so he was a young adult around the time the Enlightenment really started to get going. In his Essay Concerning Human Understanding, written in 1690, Locke proposed that everyone begins life as a white paper void of all characters, and that experiences are what makes us who we are today. This was known as the blank slate or tabula rasa theory, and it completely went against the idea of divine right of kings. If everyone's the same when they're born, then God could not have given certain people the right to be king. Locke even went a step further and said that because we were all born the same with a tabula rasa, we must have certain inalienable or permanent rights. According to him, these were life, liberty, and possessions or property. Does this sound familiar at all? Of course it does. It's written in our Declaration of Independence, but that's a different video altogether. In another of his books, Two Treatises on Government, Locke proposed that a government has two main jobs: creating laws, or legislation, and enforcing the law, or execution. He argued that if one person or group of people are doing both of these jobs, they're going to either A, mess it up, or B, trample on some of those inalienable rights we talked about earlier. This separation of powers should also sound familiar, since it's, the entire basis of the government of the United States. But again, that's a video for another time. The main things to remember about John Locke are his tabula rasa, or blank slate theory, that disproved the divine right of kings, his idea of inalienable rights of life, liberty, and property, and the importance of separating different branches of government. Okay, now it's time for some discussion questions. Number 1. Could absolute monarchies change to incorporate Locke's ideas? If yes, how? Number 2. Do you think there are any more inalienable rights? If so, what are they?